For many women in leadership, the word negotiate doesn't feel empowering. It feels tense, uncomfortable, sometimes even threatening. Negotiation often brings up fear of conflict, fear of being disliked, or fear of being seen as too much. And that reaction isn't a personal flaw, it's conditioning. From a young age, many women are socialized to prioritize harmony, smooth interactions, and emotional caretaking. Research in social psychology shows that women are more likely to experience anxiety around self advocacy because assertiveness has historically been punished rather than rewarded. So, when negotiation is framed as confrontation, it triggers an internal alarm. But here's the truth: CEOs understand that most people never learn. Negotiation is not conflict, negotiation is leadership. And the best negotiators are not aggressive, they are strategic, prepared, and emotionally intelligent. Effective negotiation is not about winning, it's about shaping outcomes. Modern organizational research shows that high performing leaders approach negotiation as collaborative problem solving, not positional combat. This aligns with findings from Harvard's program on negotiation, which demonstrate that value creating negotiations outperform win lose strategies, especially in long term professional relationships. If you hate conflict, that does not disqualify you from negotiating. In fact, it may give you an advantage. Women tend to be strong at perspective taking, pattern recognition, and relational awareness. Research by Bowles and Babcock shows that women often focus on collective outcomes rather than individual gain. And while this is often framed as a weakness, it becomes a strength when negotiation is reframed as value alignment instead of self promotion. The CEO mindset is not how do I push harder, it's how do I prepare better. Before the conversation ever begins, powerful negotiation happens in preparation. CEOs are clear on three things: what they want, what they'll accept, and what they'll do if they don't get it. This third point is critical. It's called your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Research from Fisher and Urey's work on principled negotiation shows that knowing your BATNA reduces emotional reactivity and increases confidence. When you know you have options, you stop negotiating from fear. For example, if you're asking for additional resources, your ideal outcome might be full funding. Your acceptable outcome might be partial funding. Your BATNA might be reallocating existing resources or phasing the project. You don't need to say your BATNA out loud. You need to know it. That knowledge changes how you show up. Now comes the part many women already do well, understanding the other side. CEOs don't enter negotiations asking, how do I convince them? They ask, what matters to them right now? Research in organizational behavior shows that negotiations succeed more often when requests are framed around shared goals rather than personal desire. Deborah Kolb's work demonstrates that women are particularly effective when they align their proposals with institutional priorities. Instead of saying, I want this role, try saying, given the organization's focus on reducing inefficiencies this quarter, expanding my role would allow us to address that more effectively. Instead of saying, I deserve more resources, try saying, my understanding is that this department is under pressure to meet X target. With these resources, we could improve outcomes by Y%. This isn't manipulation. This is executive thinking. CEOs make a case, they don't ask for permission, and they support that case with data. Research from Carnegie Mellon shows that structured arguments supported by objective evidence significantly increase agreement rates in negotiations. Data calms emotion. Structure creates credibility. So before the conversation, ask yourself, what metrics have I influenced? What costs have I reduced? What risks have I mitigated? What outcomes improved because of my work? Then tell the story, not a list of accomplishments, but a narrative of impact. When the conversation begins, your tone matters more than your intensity. Start by framing the discussion as collaborative. You might say, thank you for meeting with me. My goal is to explore how we can best support our shared priorities moving forward. Or, I'd like to walk through an idea and hear your perspective so we can determine the best path forward. This language signals leadership, not defensiveness. One of the most powerful tools you can use next is silence. After you make your point, stop talking. Research on negotiation dynamics shows that silence often prompts the other party to reveal more information or reconsider their position. Over explaining weakens leverage, pausing strengthens it. Then ask open ended questions. What are the biggest priorities you're balancing right now? What concerns do you have about this proposal? What would success look like from your perspective? Listen for what's underneath the words. According to Daniel Kahneman's research on decision making, emotions often drive initial reactions, even in professional settings. Acknowledging concerns before responding creates psychological safety and reduces resistance. If you receive a low offer or resistance, don't react emotionally. Re-anchor calmly. You might say, I appreciate that perspective. My proposal was based on these specific outcomes. Can you help me understand how this alternative supports those goals? If the answer is no, remember this: a no is rarely final, it's usually incomplete. Negotiation research shows that no often means not this way, not right now, or not without adjustments. So respond with curiosity. If this isn't feasible, what options might move us closer? What would need to change for this to become a yes? What flexibility exists around timing or scope? This keeps the conversation alive without escalating conflict. Many women worry about being perceived as difficult. This is real. Studies on gender bias show that assertive women can face a likability penalty. But research also shows that framing advocacy as service to the organization significantly reduces backlash. Use we language. My goal is to ensure the team is positioned for success. I'm advocating for this because it supports our strategic objectives. I want to make sure we're maximizing impact. This is not minimizing yourself. This is leading. If emotions rise, yours or theirs, pause. Research on emotional regulation shows that even brief pauses improve cognitive clarity and reduce impulsive reactions. You can say, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on this so we can make the best decision. Can we revisit this shortly? That is composure, not weakness. When you reach agreement, summarize it out loud. So we're aligned on these next steps, with X happening by Y date. My understanding is that we'll move forward with A, B, and C. Then follow up in writing. This isn't distrust, this is leadership. Clear agreements prevent future conflict and reinforce accountability. Negotiation is not a personality trait, it's a skill, and skills improve with practice. You don't need to become aggressive. You don't need to enjoy conflict. You need clarity, preparation, and alignment. The most effective CEOs don't negotiate harder. They negotiate smarter. And when you reframe negotiation as collaborative leadership rather than confrontation, you stop dreading it and start using it as one of your most powerful tools. You already have what it takes. Now you're choosing to use it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and grab my free leadership workbook, 5 Steps to Communicate with Calm, Clarity, and Confidence at powerofpeacefulness.com. Until next time, take a deep breath, embrace the present moment, and keep walking your path to peace.